statistical, mathematical fact
never has been down.
has broken every single record. There is no asset that has come close.
It's the only thing in the industry that was not touched, that was not hacked, and it never fails doing what it promised in 2009. It's never
What's
failed.
the best performing asset the world has ever seen? And you'll find out that it's Bitcoin.
Hi, Bitcoiners. Hi, traders, supporters, followers, haters, Bitcoin negators. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to another live space with Oliver Velez. Of course, I'm Oliver Velez. And today we're going to continue talking about my favorite topic, Bitcoin, but in a specific, within the confines of a specific topic that I think is important for us to address and do a mini deep dive on. So welcome, come on in, make yourselves comfortable, grab something to drink or so. I've got some, what do I have here? I have some electrolytes. Maybe grab something to take some notes with. Sometimes we drop some knowledge that's noteworthy in these talks, but I appreciate you accommodating my impromptu or very spontaneous live sessions here. I am actually trying to, guys, get as many of these in as possible. I feel that my time is quite limited here because I made a vow a long time ago that I would only do this here on X.com and Twitter until Bitcoin hit 100,000. I felt that what I was doing for a very select group of people, what I consider my Bitcoiners, my traders, my people, um, I was doing it for too narrow of an audience, and I really wanted to come out publicly and share some of the things that I was sharing with my own group and my own people, but at a specific time. So if you go back in my timeline, you realize that I really started stepping things up here with that purpose in mind to help individuals really take advantage of what I felt was going to be a wealth generational opportunity during the last bear market. So I picked up things very, very heavily toward the latter part of the 2022 bear market, which is the appropriate and perfect time to really start pounding the table extra hard. That's what we did here. Um, and what I I really set out to do was to leave behind somewhat of a library of electronic footprints that people can refer back to many years from now and basically come back and see what we were talking about, what I was saying, what I was trying to help individuals understand. And I wanted people to be able to see, a track record of us learning together in real time. I by no means have ever suggested that I'm a Bitcoin expert. I still consider myself a baby. And I felt like being here was a great experiment for us to kind of learn together, grow together, take this journey together, go deeper and deeper down the Bitcoin rabbit hole together, um, and do that in real time. But what I'm doing here is somewhat unsustainable for me. I travel a great deal. I have, an organization with traders in 95 different countries. I have a lot to do, and I dedicated a specific window of time to really focus here, which is truly not sustainable for me over the long term. So I picked 100,000 Bitcoin, not to quit on Bitcoin, but to basically drop my activity here. So when Bitcoin hits 100,000, I promise I am going to keep my promise up until that particular point. I'm going to try to get as many posts and many live sessions with you on the record before that happens, but I'm going to keep my word, guys. I wish I did this at 75,000, but at 100,000, I am out, I'm gone, and I think you'll be okay from that point onward. But anyway, okay, so let's start our talk today, guys. Your questions are welcome. For those of you who are, let me just take a puff on my cigar here before it goes out. Give me a second. For those of you who are not somewhat familiar with my style of live talks, I do not pass the mic. I just really have not done that. I find that the manner in which I share my limited information and knowledge is best done so in sort of like this rant style or this monologue style. You're free to ask your questions, anything your heart desires throughout my little rant or monologue, and certainly after. I'll do my best to try to get to your questions. And if oftentimes when I can't get to a question during the live session, I'll scroll back a little bit later and try to address anything that might be unanswered later in text form. But okay, guys, make yourselves comfortable. Today or tonight, what we're going to talk about is something that sort of got riled up and came into the upper part of my consciousness through a text exchange with an individual who brought up the concept or the idea that Bitcoin does not have utility and that it is a Ponzi scheme. Now, this is something that I actually focused on a bit earlier in my first live session today. And if you did not catch that, I strongly encourage that you do. I think it's entitled Tackling Bitcoin FUD. And what we do in that live session is take all of the popular things that you've heard for years about Bitcoin from a negative narratives perspective. And we basically kill each one by one. And the things that this text brought up about Bitcoin having no utility and Bitcoin being a Ponzi scheme, we definitely destroyed. But I felt that, you know, having a dedicated live session on the utility part was warranted. It's perfect to do that now. And so I want to take this idea of utility versus pure monetary premium. I want to take that idea and I want us to do a deep dive on it right now tonight. All right. So let's go. Let's do this. Um, how am I going to start this though? I don't even know how I'm going to start this. Okay. Uh, you know, I will tell you that most people spend the vast majority of their lives chasing money. I mean, if you really sit back and think about it, most people's lives are literally consumed with chasing money. They wake up with money on their minds. The dominant language that they understand and utilize throughout their everyday life is the language of money because money is truly a language, right? Everything they think is um, sort of used against the barometer of money. How much does it cost? What's the value of that? Is it worth me doing it? Is it not? Um, most people's lives are dominated by the concept of money. And I'd go as far as saying that sometimes upwards of 80+% of one's life is really, truly dictated by the concept of money. But how many people who are living this way in all of life, all over the globe, how many people have actually stopped, taken a period of time in their lives to actually study money? Like they dedicate their lives to it. Almost every waking hour is consciously and in many cases unconsciously dedicated to the concept of money, the concept of earning, the concept of getting more. But how many people have actually decided that since I spend the vast majority of my time seeking more money, why don't I study money? What actually is money? How many people have actually stopped to question what money is? It's not as simple of a question as one might think. And the answer is not as simple as one might think either. I would gander to say that the vast majority of people have not studied money. They've not studied the history of money. They've not gone into the depths of all the types of money that have existed throughout the human experience. What made certain monies survive longer than others? What made them die? Why did they die? Which ones lasted the longest and why? Which ones were considered better than the others? Which were considered crappy monies. If you haven't studied money and come to the conclusion of what money is, you don't even know what you're spending your life on, because most people are spending their 80% plus of their lives chasing something. They don't even know what it is. They can't tell you what money is. They can't tell you what it comes from. They can't tell you the difference between a bad money and a good money. All they know is that they wake up and go to bed. 80% of the time between those two moments, they're chasing money and they don't even know what it is. This is a very sad state of affairs, but it's not entirely the fault of individuals, because the system is designed not to educate people about what money is, because it is best for the powers to be. It is best for the powers that be, for the masses not to understand what money is, not to understand how money is being used against them. Because if the masses ever got even one iota of an understanding of how money really works and how money is used against them to almost financially enslave them day by day, most people would revolt against that. And so it is not by chance that throughout all of life in almost every country, there is no teaching our kids about money, and that is a financial travesty. There is no courses that help you delve into understanding how to arrive at the answer. What is money? There's no study of money, it's history. There's none of that. There is a study of a lot of things that really don't matter, though. That's for sure. So I wanted to bring that point to home because um, it will lend some importance to our talk here tonight. Um, this lack of understanding of money tends to lead to the idea that money is supposed to have a utility. It's supposed to have a purpose. It's supposed to do something. When in fact, that's actually the opposite of what a true sound money is. True sound money is not supposed to have utility. So I get this all the time from bozos that never have gone into the depths of what money is. Well, what's the utility? And a lot of people direct that toward Bitcoin. What's the utility of Bitcoin? It doesn't have utility. You hear the Peter Schiffs of the world, who know better, by the way, but take advantage of your ignorance by continuing to cloud the issue. He knows better. He knows that a sound money is not supposed to have utility, but he plays this mental trick with the ignorant to keep them ignorant. A sound money is not supposed to have utility. A sound money is supposed to have nothing more than monetary premium. Now, let's delve into this just a little bit. Um, I think we first have to explain or go into what is the difference between utility and monetary premium. So I think one of the best examples to use with this is a home. Okay. So a home typically in today's sort of real estate world, a home, the price of a home is broken up into two parts. There is the utility value of a home, the value that is associated with it being a box with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a kitchen or whatever. And its purpose is to provide shelter for, um, a 4-person family, 2 parents, 2 kids, a dog, whatever. That's that value for being just what its purpose is, its utility. Shelter, a roof over my head, a bed for a room for each kid, a room for the parents, a kitchen, a living room, a driveway, whatever. That's the utility part of a home. But most homes sell for a price that is above that utility value. So what is above that value is called premium, monetary premium. So it is obvious that if a home sells for $1 million in the United States, there's no way that the home from a utilitarian point of view is worth $1 million. It's just four walls, bedrooms, a bathroom, a kitchen, a freaking driveway, a living room and a driveway for the car. Like, you can't say that that's worth $1 million. So maybe the utilitarian value of that $1 million home is $80,000 to $100,000, and $900,000 is monetary premium. Do you follow what I'm saying? There's a difference between what its value would be just for what its purpose is, and then there's monetary premium. Maybe that monetary premium comes because it's in a certain neighborhood, it's made out of certain materials or whatever, but it's just monetary premium. It's over and beyond the purpose it's used for. Let's take the concept of utility and monetary premium to something like gold, okay? So gold is used for a small number of things in life. It's used in some electronics still. It's used in some dentistry still. My grandmother had gold teeth. I remember this as a kid. I used to always stare at my grandmother's teeth because she had gold fillings and gold um casings around certain teeth of hers. So I just remember that as a kid that gold was used for some form of dentistry. And we do know that gold is used in certain transistors, and it's used in certain electronics today. But that's its utilitarian value, what it's used for. But a gold ounce at $2,000 an ounce is not entirely, the utilitarian value for gold is not entirely $2,000 an ounce. That the vast majority of that value is because it is used as a store of value, which is where the monetary premium comes in. So maybe out of $2,000 an ounce, maybe 20% of it, 25% of it is for utilitarian purposes, other things other than people saying, I'm just going to have gold sit here because it's a decent store of value. It protects my wealth. Same with the real estate. All right. I'm going to have two or three um, pieces of property, not because I really use them, but because their value holds pretty well versus me holding that amount in cash. It's a store of value. The store of value part is the monetary premium. What you use it for is the utilitarian value. So there are things that have both of these things. Gold has some utilitarian value, but it has more premium, more monetary premium, which is, it doesn't have a utility. It's just a store, like a vault. Consider monetary premium like a financial vault. All right. Give me just a second, guys. Now, in understanding money, it's important to understand these two parts of what has historically made up of a money. What is historically made up of a money is money has historically been made up of these two parts: a monetary premium and a utilitarian value. So, for instance, throughout certain parts of history, right? A certain tools used to serve as money, but the tools were a form of money that was totally utilitarian nature. They didn't last for hundreds of years. They had a certain shelf life, but they had a high utility. These tools helped me catch more fish than I normally would without it. These tools helped me kill animals for my meat more frequently than without the tools. And so tools were a form of money at certain points throughout the human experience, but they were a utilitarian money. Okay. And so it's important to understand utility versus a pure premium, monetary premium form of money that does not have utility. It's more like a vault that does nothing, but it does effectively store and secure and protect the purchasing power of what you put there. It's a store of value. Now, utility, the first forms of money in the human experience were almost entirely utility because the human race needed utility in its early part of its evolutionary process, a cycle. Utility was the thing of greatest value. Scarcity was the norm for human life. And so no one stored anything because there was too much scarcity. Calories were scarce. So there was no storing up your food because you basically you killed what you ate and you ate it all and went hungry until you killed the next time. Calories used to be scarce. There was no storage. Over time, technological advancements allowed human beings to be able to kill their food at a rate, right, that was faster than their needs. Thus entered the need to store what they didn't need at the current moment. So initially, there was no storage of what you didn't need because you barely got what you needed. And if you got what you needed, you consumed it in the moment, and then you went hungry until you got the next kill or you captured the next animal or whatever the case is. There was no storing of anything for the human race for a very long time. And it is only through technological advancements, the tools got better to kill animals at a faster rate than the body needed calories. Thus entered the need for storing. I now have more food than I need right now. I need to store this. And so the tools that became money during the time of storage, before the time of storage, I'm saying, were the tools that helped you kill what you needed faster. So bow and arrows became tools, became money that you could trade things for. Arrows, spears became money. Shaved rocks that formed knives became the form of money that you bartered with. They had a high utility. And then when we entered into a phase where we now not only needed things that required utility, but we also now started to experience excess, things that we didn't need to store, things that we didn't need to consume now, but we needed to protect them to consume later. Thus, the store of value phase of life began to emerge in the human experience. And now, certain forms of money became useful for the purpose of storing. So, first, money was utilitarian, and then there were certain forms of money that served as being useful for storage. Utility for now, storage for later. And both are legitimate purposes. As the evolutionary process went on, the need for storage began to outpace the need for utility. And so storing my excess became far more ubiquitous, far more important than the need for utility in the moment. And so the idea of a sound money began to shift from being purely utilitarian, because I need everything now, to no, I need something that helps me protect what I don't need now. Store of value, monetary premium. The monies that help you store for the future, they are not supposed to have utility now. That's a different form of money. That's a form of money that was far more important for us a million years ago, but it is less important for us today. And I'm going to prove it to you where utility, when your money has a high utility, it has a low value. And when your money has a low utility, it has a higher value. Why? Because where we are in the human evolutionary process is we're in an area or in the point in our evolutionary development where storing our excess is far more important than the utility of grabbing something now. The world doesn't need speed, doesn't need a utility, which the shitcoin audience says, well, this money is faster than Bitcoin. The world doesn't have a speed problem. Do you understand? You've got all of these altcoins and saying, well, we have a higher utility than Bitcoin because Bitcoin settles in 10 minutes and this blockchain settles in 3 seconds. Listen, doesn't need, the world doesn't have a problem of buying hot dogs faster. That's not what the world needs today. The world doesn't need a faster hamburger and fries. Oh, what I can buy hamburger and fries 3.5 seconds faster. That's not a freaking problem that the world has today. The world has a store of value problem. The world today, everywhere in the world, people have a store of value problem. Their stores of wealth are being confiscated, taken, stolen from them. They don't have a utilitarian problem. They don't have a speed problem. They have a store of wealth problem because they have been indoctrinated and brainwashed to hand over what they don't need now to another man. And that other man is robbing them. That other man is abusing them. That other man is defrauding them. That other man is taking possession of what they don't need, promising them something in the future and never letting them ever have the asset back again. They're tricking the the powers that be are tricking the human race, the vast majority of the human race. Give your excess value to me. I will take care of it. I will safeguard it for you. Hand it over to me, and they're being robbed. The world has a store of value problem. It doesn't have a speed of execution problem. It doesn't have a utilitarian problem. And so all the monies that are claiming to have higher utility, that's like going back a million years when we needed that. We don't need that today. We need a store of value. I don't need this right now. Where do I safeguard this for my family so it will be there for them 50 years from now, 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now? That's what the world needs. That's where the human race is being robbed of their store of value today. And so I posted an image earlier of, let me see if I can do this here. Maybe I can do it here. I'm going to post it in this talk again because I want you to be able to see it. Let me do that. Boom. Posted it right in this live here. And what you'll see with this image is this image, what I created here was uh, it's a scale that shows you, it's a comparison that shows you um, things that have a high um, pure monetary premium versus a high utilitarian value, right? And so if you look at this image that I just posted, you'll see that Bitcoin is 100%, right? 100% monetary premium, meaning that its utility is very low. It's not zero, but it's very low because its main purpose is just pure freaking store, pure monetary premium. It's not supposed to have utility at this point. It's not supposed to have a use case other than being a freaking vault to protect your future, protect your family, protect what you don't need now. That's pure monetary premium with little utility. Now, go to the next bar to the right of Bitcoin and you'll see gold. Gold is used as something for utility more than Bitcoin. So gold is used in dentistry, gold is used in certain transistors, gold is used in certain electronics. It does have a utility, but still the vast majority of gold's value is still monetary premium. Its more predominant use case is just people hoard it. People store what they don't need. They've got gold bars stored in a vault somewhere. They just hold it because it is better than holding cash, which loses value every second that you're holding it. And so while it still has some utility, the majority of its use case, the majority of the value of gold is attributed to it being a vault. Bitcoin is almost 100% vault. Gold is almost, it's like 70% vault, 30% utility. Now, look at the difference between the unit prices of these things. Bitcoin is 70,000, more or less 69, 70,000 today, and gold is more or less 2,000. One has almost no utility, 100% monetary premium. Its unit price is 70,000. The other has some utility, mostly monetary premium, and its unit price is 2,000. Just because its purpose is to be used for something else, the unit price is lower. Now, if we go to the third bar, you see silver. Silver is used 1,000 times more than gold. You can't even, if you look at your home office desk or your office desk at work, almost every single thing you look at has silver in it. Your phone has silver in it. Almost everything you use, your computers, your laptops, your iPads, your headphones, the mics that you talk through, everything, the cars you drive, everything has silver in it. Silver is used far more than gold in things. So it has a higher utilitarian purpose. It has higher utility than gold, but gold is $2,000 an ounce, silver is $24 an ounce. Higher utility, lower monetary unit price. Copper. Copper, if you think silver is used in everything, copper is used in almost everything on planet Earth. I'm not even aware of something that is used more frequently than copper. as far as a metal is concerned. It trounces silver, despite the fact that silver is almost in everything you can look at. Copper trounces the utilitarian value of silver. It is used in virtually everything on planet Earth, and its unit price is $4. Higher utility, lower unit price. And then we go to water. Water has a higher utility than copper. In fact, we freaking need it to live. It is used by every single human being, while copper may not be used by every single human being on Earth. Water is used by every single human being on Earth. It has one of the ultimate levels of utility. And water, what can you buy water for today? $1 a bottle? Unit price is lower. Higher utility, lower unit price. And then let's go to the ultimate, air. You see the air? Air has a higher utilitarian value than water. You can last longer without water than you can last longer without air. It is absolutely essential for life. Its utility is existential if it's not available. So it has the highest utility, and air is free. So, what I'm trying to demonstrate to you in this message is that throughout all of humanity, we have, as a race of beings, we have been in search for the perfect money. In fact, the entire evolutionary journey of the human species can literally be written as the story of searching for the perfect store of value, the perfect money. And so at first it was tools. And then it was tools that had some utility and some store of value. They lasted. And then it was metals that had some utility like silver, but also served as money, as pure, as a part of their value, monetary premium. And what we were really searching for is a money that didn't have a utility. We may not have known it consciously, but every single money became better than the other money that was adopted by the human race. And if you study the history of adopting better and better monies throughout the human evolution, you'll find that the better ones had a less utility and more simply vault, more simply monetary premium. And if you go up the scale here, silver was money for 9,000 years. China ruled planet Earth and dominated the silver market. And because they failed to adopt the new monetary standard that emerged in the world called gold, they lost their leadership position for over 1,000 years. They lost 1,000 years, went from the top of the world to the bottom of the world because they opted for and chose the wrong money. The money for a long time was silver. It was the dominant money. And when a new, better money, one that had less utility, one that had more monetary premium called gold, silver was used more, but gold was used less, making it more valuable than silver. And their refusal to adopt gold as the standard because they were the kings of silver, they lost their leadership position in the world for 1,000 freaking years. They went from the top of the world to the bottom of the world. And that was the reason they failed to adopt the new, better money. It's the story. This story is as long as time itself. When a new, better money emerges, if you fail to adopt, you will die. And China died. Silver's older than gold as money, 9,000 years. Gold is 5,000, 6,000 years as money for global Earth, for planet Earth. And gold reigned supreme for a long time as being the money that had the smallest utility and the highest premium, but it was still used for things. until something came on the scene called Bitcoin in 2009 that had almost zero utility and all premium, and is now being recognized as the ultimate, the most supreme form of money, because it is 100% vault, 100% store right now, 100% protection. It doesn't have a part-time job. It doesn't moonlight on you. It doesn't say, well, I'm your money and I'm a dentist on the side. It doesn't say, I'm going to protect your future and I'm also going to spend some time in some electronics over here. It doesn't say, I'm going to save you from monetary debasement by fiat slave masters. And at the same time, I'm going to quit that job, and for a portion of my day, I'm going to spend it um in electronic devices. It Bitcoin doesn't moonlight on you. Bitcoin doesn't say at 11 p.m. I will stop protecting you because I play jazz at night between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. in the morning. So between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. in the morning, I can't protect you. I'm moonlighting on you. I make extra. I do this. I'm not 100% focused on protecting you. I've got another job to do. We don't need a money that has other part-time jobs, that does other things. That's what people are saying. But Bitcoin doesn't have utility. Thank God it doesn't have utility. What's the utility of a freaking vault? Answer me that. I gotta light this cigar again. Answer me that. What's the utility of a vault? It's a freaking empty space, right? What does it do? Does it move? Does it do backflips? Does it entertain you? Does it do electronics? Does it do dentistry? It's a freaking empty space. But what's its number one purpose is to protect your valuables. It's not supposed to do anything else. It's not supposed to have a freaking utility. It's not supposed to do dentistry. It's not supposed to be in electronic consistors. It's not supposed to be in devices like your cell phone and this and that. It's not supposed to play jazz at night. It's not supposed to be a comedian on the side. It's a freaking empty space that no one, if you put something there, it'll protect it forever and no other human being can touch it. That's what Bitcoin is, and that's its utility: to protect your life, to prevent other human beings from being able to take it from you like they've always done throughout human history, confiscate it from you, rob you, defraud you from it. If you put it in Bitcoin, it will never be touched, never be stolen. It's safe for 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years. It's not supposed to do anything else. It's not supposed to quit on you. It's not supposed to have another part-time job. You don't want your money to have a freaking utility. You want it to just be a freaking vault. That's what the world needs. We don't need faster transactions. We don't need buying hamburgers and hot dogs 2.5 seconds faster. That's the bullshit narratives from these altcoins and shitcoins out there that try to poke at Bitcoin to enrich their little bozo, weak little uh, uh, beta male creators. Do you follow what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm laying down? Am I being too harsh with you, by the way? You know, it's just my style, guys. I get riled up. I'm sorry. Turbocharge that thing, guys. I like to turbocharge my talks here. What am I doing here? Let me see if you have any questions. There is this fundamental misunderstanding of these two things: a pure monetary premium and utilitarian value. This is the first part that we need to understand. And I want to know if, in fact, you do understand what I've laid down so far. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? Are there any questions regarding this so far? Sorry about that, guys. All right. Any questions? Libtech says, my man, I'm glad I found the podcast for my night story. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Jason Spiker's asking, Oliver, he says, you have brought up having some amount of Bitcoin and not needing to spend it for assets in the future. Can you elaborate? I don't believe that we are in the part of Bitcoin's evolutionary cycle of becoming a pure money. It's 15 years old. It's a baby. But we're not in that part of the cycle where you should be thinking about spending your Bitcoin. Spend the bullshit, Jason. You see, there's something called Gresham's Law. It states that bad money drives out of circulation good money, and it's true. We are in that stage where bad money drives out Bitcoin. Bad money is fiat money. Bad money is the US dollar. Bad money is the Japanese yen. Bad money is the Argentinian peso. Bad money is the Turkish lira. Bad money is the Venezuelan peso, the Venezuelan bolivar, the Mexican peso. Those are bad monies. They're driving out of circulation Bitcoin, and they should. And what does that mean? They're driving it into your vault. They're driving it into your store of value. They're taking it out of spending, using Bitcoin to buy eggs and milk and fill up your freaking gas tank with oil. You're taking Bitcoin out of circulation and keeping it, safekeeping it in the vault, secure, where it increases your value, increases your wealth, increases your future every 4 years of your life until you die. You don't want to put it back into circulation, not now, in the future maybe, but now it's not the time to pull it out of the vault and use it for eggs and milk. Use the bullshit for eggs and milk. Use the shitty money to fill up your gas tank with. You need to take public transportation on a bus or a train. You're going to use freaking the most valuable thing on earth, the scarcest thing on earth, the thing that's guaranteed to go up in value every 4 years of your life, and you're going to spend it on a freaking bus ride? You're smarter than that. The bad money pushes the good money into your vault where it should stay, and you use the shitty money for all of your daily needs. Get out of this notion right now that you should be using your Bitcoin for bullshit. You should be using it to protect your future because it's mathematically designed to make you richer, wealthier, bigger, freer, more independent every 4 years of your life. You don't spend that. You spend what goes down every 4 years of your life. You get rid of the bad. You don't get rid of the good. And this over obsession with when can I use the good, Oliver? When can I use the thing that continues to make me more free? You still don't get it. You don't use that. You keep that. You hoard that. You put that in the vault. You save that. The wealthy of this world did not become wealthy by getting rid of what goes up in value over time. They did not get like that. They hoarded it. They passed this shit on from generation to generation. As long as it continued to go up, they wouldn't use it. You got to start thinking this way, guys. I believe that I know this will make some pure Bitcoiners a little upset because a lot of them disagree with me on this point. The purpose for fiat now is to use it on your bullshit. You should not be using Bitcoin on your bullshit. Now, I get a lot of flack from the Bitcoiners who are like, well, you're not bullish enough. You're not 100% Bitcoin. You're still using fiat. Damn, Skippy. Bitcoin is so precious to me that it's like the freaking Mona Lisa. Can you imagine me going up into the gas station with my freaking car and pulling out the Mona Lisa and saying, I need $45 to fill up my gas tank, and I'm using the Mona Lisa. Can you picture that with the Mona Lisa in my hand? Can you do that mental image? I've got the Mona Lisa to pay for. How do I take $45 from the Mona Lisa and fill up my gas tank? Does that freaking make sense? Does that image, doesn't that, is that image comical to you? Bitcoin is not ready to be a medium of exchange. We're not at that part of its cycle. We're at the part where you hoard it. You keep it safe. You keep it freaking secret. You take possession of it, man, and you lock it away. And that locked away portion will free you more and more every 4 years of your life. And what you should do is add to it every day, if you can, every week. Every week is probably better than every day. Every week of your life, just add to it. It will grow every 4 years of your life and get so big at some point that it will say, now stop working for other men. I don't want you out there. You don't need to do that. You are totally free. You are totally independent, and it pulls you out of the bullshit. It lifts you out of clown world, and you will never work for another man another day in your life, and you will never work for their shitty pieces of paper. Waking up in the morning, going to work for another man's money that they control the supply of it, they control the price of it, and they make it go down 2 to 12% every single year, so that you have to work for them harder every year, 2 to 12% harder every single year until the day you die. You're going to be freed from that financial slavery through Bitcoin. But you got to use it as a vault. You got to use it as pure monetary premium and not get stuck in this bullshit idea that it's supposed to have a utility. It's not in the stage of having utility yet. And this is a lack of understanding of the evolutionary processes of money and how money has to go through 4 stages of evolution before it can become utilitarian in nature. It must go through the first stage of being a collectible. Then from a collectible, it naturally morphs into a store of value, which is where we are with Bitcoin now. Bitcoin is a store of value. It is We have better medium of exchanges today. The US dollar is a better medium of exchange than Bitcoin today is. Let's be honest about it. It's easier to use. It's more widely available and accessible as a medium of exchange. But it is a poor store of value, and that's where Bitcoin shines today. But ultimately, when enough people have it stored, when you can walk down a busy street and know that every single person you just passed, hundreds of people, you can pretty much guarantee, you can bet your last dollar that every single person I passed on this block has Bitcoin stored in one form or another. That's when it starts to naturally morph into a medium of exchange, because you can assume that every single person you do business with, every single person you have a relationship with, every single person you pass, every single person you deal with has Bitcoin to deal with you. And that's when it starts to naturally become traded amongst human beings, which naturally has the money morph into the medium of exchange stage for a while. Then it must spend an inordinate amount of time as a medium of exchange before it starts to naturally morph into a unit of account. So these 4 stages have to go through, and you can't cheat the system. You can't overstep one. You got to go through collectible. You got to go through store of value. Then store of value naturally morphs into medium of exchange. Then medium of exchange naturally morphs into unit of account. And what the shit coins try to do is try to create a coin that skips collectible, skips store of value, and goes straight to medium of exchange. That is bullshit. That's not historical. No money has ever done that, and certainly no sound money can ever. No money can ever be sound going straight to medium of exchange. The whole narrative is bullshit. And the people who don't understand the history of money and how a sound money comes into existence, right, for human beings, they get sucked into these stupid narratives by these these VC funded pump and dump schemes called shitcoins and altcoins. I said all of that without breathing, actually. That's pretty cool. That's pretty good. Fresh Funk says, never too harsh, Oliver. Turbocharge that thing. That's right. I like to turbocharge my talks, you know. It's just my style, guys. Uh, Stan Orajis is stating here, the more the utility activity used, the less the monetary premium value. That's right. He says, but I don't like to refer to use as utility. It's like comparing activity, use, and purpose value. For instance, that I use a rag more doesn't mean it has or will have more value than a tuxedo. I think that you're basically saying the same thing that I'm saying. The more you use a money that is highly used, can't be a money that is rapidly rising in value. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? Listen to me carefully. Why would a money that is rapidly rising in value be highly used? Because the opportunity cost to use a rapidly rising money is too high to use it. So you save a money that is rapidly rising and you use a money that is actually not rising, that's declining. So you are incentivized to use the US dollar now because tomorrow it's less. And 4 years from now, it's way less. So you are not incentivized to save the dollar. You are incentivized to save and not use Bitcoin, because if you use Bitcoin today to buy a Toyota, right? That might turn out 4 to 8 years from now to be the most expensive Toyota ever made on planet Earth. Do you understand what I'm saying? That the amount of Bitcoin you used for that Toyota. Remember when the guy, I forget his name, he spent 10,000 Bitcoin to buy 2 pizzas. 10,000 Bitcoin to buy 2 pizzas. Now, let's calculate what that is today. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull up the calculator right now. This has to be the most expensive pizza that the world has ever known, right? 10,000 Bitcoin. The dude spent. Let's use 69,000. Well, we know what that is. That's 690 million dollars. 2 pizzas, $690 million. The opportunity cost was huge. You use for pizza bullshit money that does not go up in value. Do you understand? You use bullshit money. This is Gresham's law. The bad money is used and drives good money into the vault, out of circulation, because the bad money is used for pizza. You don't use good money for pizza, so it gets removed from that transaction. Bad money used for pizza drives out the good money from that transaction. Good money is gone. Not going to use it for pizza. It is only when a money or a store of value stops having such a huge opportunity cost to use it on a day-to-day basis that it starts to naturally morph into medium of exchange. But it must spend an inordinate amount of time in number go up phase. And this is why I'm always saying, don't rush using your Bitcoin. Stop rushing that. Stop falling into this shitcoin trap. Well, nobody accepts it. Good. Good, nobody accepts it. You can't spend it on anything. Good. I'm glad. We're still in the freaking number go up phase, the store of value phase. Good. Because when the world starts accepting it, and when everybody has it, that biggest part of the number go up part of Bitcoin's life, it gets quelled quite a bit. We don't want to rush that. This is the generational wealth period of Bitcoin's evolutionary journey of becoming a fully fledged money, all the way to unit of account. We want to spend a lot of time in store of value, not in using it for pizza. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so this idea of, well, there's no utility, you can't use it for anything, is so ignorant when you understand it from this perspective, right? Isn't it ignorant? Now, isn't it ignorant for you, for you, when you see it this way? All right, let's see. Let's see what else. Let's see what you got for me here. Yeah, Mac Dave says when Peter Schiff says Bitcoin has no use, he's wrong. Of course he is. Its use is as a vault primarily right now, as a savings technology, a savings vehicle. It's pure monetary premium. It's not tools right now. It's not to be used to fill your gas tank right now, to buy 2 pizzas right now. That's stupid. So Mag Dave goes on to say it's required to use the world's most powerful ledger. Yes, that's true. One sat is worthless without the Bitcoin required to transact. So I think what Mag David is saying is that the actual Bitcoin network is the use case, and that Bitcoin is the coin that allows you to use the use case. So that use of the ledger, the most secure ledger on planet Earth, is its utility. And that's an interesting way to look at it. But I don't want you to lose sight of this idea that Bitcoin is the world's best, the best savings technology that human beings have ever come in contact with. And this is a solution to, this is the most important solution to human beings right now. Human beings don't need faster transactions. Human beings don't need NFTs. This solves nothing for the human race. Human beings don't need, monkey JPEGs and ordinals. Human beings need to store their future and their time and the fruits of their labor somewhere where it can't be stolen, confiscated, and taken from them, that it can't be debased from them. They need freedom. That's what freedom is. Freedom is the time doesn't belong to someone. Do you realize that when you have a bad money, your time is stolen, right? And what's the definition of a person who has lost 100% of their time? That is a freaking slave. So with a bad money, you have lost 40% of your time. So you're a 40% slave. A 100% slave doesn't have any of their time. It belongs to someone else. Well, now 40% of your time belongs to someone else. Think about it. They take it away from you. You work for $100. You put in the time, you put in your life, your skill, your effort. Time is the stuff that life is made up of. Your life is made up of time. So you spend the time and you get a shitty piece of paper back. Hold on to it long enough, and the shitty piece of paper becomes half a piece of paper. Your time was for a full piece of paper, but someone took a half away. So they stole your time, which means that you're a half a slave. And Bitcoin frees you from being that half a slave. And if you hold on to it long enough, you'll lose 3/4 of the piece of paper. You gave time for one piece of paper, and they stole 3/4 of the piece of paper away from you. They stole your time, which makes you a freaking 3/4 of a slave. Bitcoin frees you from this, where you don't work for another man's money. You don't work for a money that is controlled by another human being, manipulated. Its supply is not in the hands of human beings. It can't be manipulated or controlled by a human being, yet it is available to every human being equally. We are equals when it comes to Bitcoin. The world is fair when it comes to Bitcoin. Why should you work for another man's money? My name is Oliver Velez, and I am your 13%er Bitcoiner. Be safe out there, and until next time. Boom!